Next on the news, remembering Monsignor Delendick as his name is added to the World Trade Center Memorial Wall.
The work of priests like John Delendick is a real sign of hope to people.
Pope Francis holds a stadium mass in Jakarta, Indonesia, with a special message for Catholics everywhere. A mass is celebrated in Queens on this, the feast day of St. Teresa of Calcutta, at a church with a very special connection to Mother Teresa. Plus,
this parish and one of his parishioners have been living their faith for 100 years. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have that story coming up.
I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. The New York City Fire Department has added 32 names to its World Trade Center Memorial Wall, all members who died of 9/11 related illnesses. One of the names, Fallen FDNY chaplain Monsignor John Delendick. Monsignor Delendick served the department and the Diocese of Brooklyn faithfully for decades. Now his legacy is being honored. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has more from FDNY headquarters in downtown Brooklyn.
FDNY Chaplain Reverend Monsignor John E. Delendick, November 23rd, 2023.
Wednesday would have been Monsignor John Delendick's 75th birthday. Fellow firefighter Danny Prince was with him at the very end of his battle with 9/11 related pancreatic cancer.
He kept fighting right up to the end. He never gave up. He always believed tomorrow's going to be a better day, and he just inspired people.
Monsignor Delendick and 31 others were honored Wednesday at a memorial service at FDNY headquarters, their names added to the World Trade Center Memorial Wall. As of this year, the number of department members who have died of 9/11 related illnesses has surpassed the number of members who died that day.
He used to talk about all the funerals that he did, and he was there for everybody. He was just a foot soldier.
At the service, the FDNY vowed to never forget, using Monsignor Delendick's words as examples of that promise. Though he and hundreds of other members didn't die on 9/11, they paid the ultimate price for their service on one of the darkest days in our nation's history.
FDNY chaplain Monsignor John Delendick, he told the crowd, "We come here to remember them and to thank them for the service they have done for us."
Monsignor Sean Ogle, Diocese of Brooklyn's vicar for clergy, and Monsignor Delendick were classmates from high school through their ordination.
It's so fitting he has this recognition for what he did as a fire department chaplain, because from day one, he had a very, very pastoral heart.
This year, on the 23rd anniversary of September 11th, Monsignor Delendick's legacy is looked to for hope by members of the FDNY, past and present.
He's truly a saint, and he's up there with Michael Judge right now.
How often did they invoke the name of God in this ceremony? That's what John sought to bring to people. I think that would be his greatest legacy.
And now his service and sacrifice are memorialized forever. In downtown Brooklyn, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Thursday is the feast day of St. Teresa of Calcutta. Mother Teresa, who's known around the world for her work helping the poor in India, passed away 27 years ago on September 5th, 1997. The faithful in Brooklyn gathered for a special mass celebrated by Auxiliary Bishop Octavio Cisneros at Our Lady of Victory, St. Martin de Porres Parish in Bedford-Stuyvesant. The church has a special connection to the nun who founded the religious order Missionaries of Charity. St. Teresa visited the church on Throop Avenue in 1992 to dedicate Queen of Hope, a convent mission house for the order. A longtime parishioner and Bishop Cisneros have fond memories of that visit.
The New Life in Christ charismatic prayer group of Our Lady of Victory. Mother Teresa, we were praying for her canonization, and then she also became Saint Teresa of Calcutta.
When I was talking to her at that time, her dream was to send the sisters to China. Always a missionary, always thinking where could the seeds of the gospel be planted.
Mother Teresa's legacy lives on in our diocese. The convent mission house still helps pregnant women and mothers with young children who have nowhere to turn. Bishops in New York State are urging Catholics to oppose Proposal 1, a constitutional amendment on the ballot in November that would enshrine abortion rights. They call it a wolf in sheep's clothing, saying in part, this amendment is presented as a means of banning unjust discrimination against people for a range of characteristics. However, by singling out both age and gender identity and expression, it opens the door for judges to permit minor children to make life-altering decisions about their bodies without parental approval or notification. Additionally, it would make it impossible to ever pass even the most common-sense restrictions on abortion. We urge all New Yorkers to oppose it. Now to Indonesia, where the highlight of the Holy Father's visit came at the main stadium in Jakarta, where he celebrated Mass for 100,000 of the faithful.
Yang akan menerima berkat dari Tuhan.
Pope Francis told those in attendance at the packed stadium to be builders of hope. He asked them to join him to overcome barriers and intolerance to save humanity and the planet. He reminded them that no one can do that without the other. During his homily, he said, I encourage you to sow seeds of love, confidently tread the path of dialogue, continue to show your goodness and kindness, and be builders of unity and peace. That message resonated loudly earlier in the day when the Holy Father visited the largest mosque in Southeast Asia. There he met with the Grand Imam of Jakarta, where they signed a joint declaration calling for religious harmony for the sake of humanity and of creation. Francis heads now to Papua New Guinea for the second leg of his trip. It's one of the longest and farthest trips in papal history and will also take him to East Timor and Singapore. St. Clare Church in Rosedale recently celebrated a milestone in welcoming the faithful. It was cause to celebrate for one of the people in the pews as well. Theodora Pyle and St. Clare both turned 100 years old this year. Current News' Katie Vasquez spoke to her about her time at the church.
Holy Mary, Mother of God.
For as long as Theodora Pile could remember, faith had always come first.
I don't want to miss a Sunday as best I can do it. And anything involved in the church, I was always there.
As a child growing up in Guyana, she attended Mass regularly.
We went to church. We had novenas for before Christmas 9 days.
And even when she moved away from home,
I had made her dress too.
And developed other passions.
From the sewing. I worked at this designer on 6th Avenue where we made all the evening gowns.
When she finally settled in New York in 1975, she found a permanent home in the church. Specifically at St. Clare Church in Rosedale.
It reminded me a lot of at home. Well, this is like when I first went to St. Clare's.
Since then, she has been a staple at St. Clare.
I look forward to it every Sunday because we had a beautiful choir.
And when the church celebrated a milestone anniversary, she realized they had something in common.
I never thought of the 100 years until this came up with the 100 years of the church and everything. So everything come together and I realized, wow, 100 years is a long time. It was quite an honor.
Theodora has been recognized previously for reaching her 100th birthday, even getting a proclamation from New York City. But something that especially touched the centenarian was when she was given a special shout out at St. Clare's anniversary Mass with Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan.
For as long as Mrs. Pyle has been alive, there's been a St. Clare Church.
And just like St. Clare has always been there for Theodora, she wants to be there for her parish family.
They always see me with my rosary and pray, and I say, I pray for everybody, and you got to pray for others too.
In Rosedale, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
What a great story. Before we go, do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.